you will have heard us discussing the news. The Croydon Council had run out of money and effectively gone bust.
Welcome to Croydon. I'm Dexter Sims, Business Award winner and Entrepreneur of the Year, Award winner 2019.
Last night, councillors met to talk about which services to cut in a bid to try to fill a £67 million black hole in its finances. They also talked about the property company Brick by Brick that they had set up. The council loaned the company £200 million, but hasn't received the £36 million in dividends and loan repayments owed this year.
But 2019 wasn't all glitz and glamours for me, as I won the award in October. Come a few months later in December, my life took a devastating turn for the worse. Little did I know that come March, the whole world will be in lockdown due to COVID-19. Now, as much as the death rates was manipulated and the news was fabricated, a lot of families was left devastated from the losses of their family members. Many got sick and many died and passed away, unfortunately. But can you imagine everybody being in lockdown, being glued to their TVs, glued to their social medias, not knowing what to believe?
That you are stating the obvious. You keep on stating the obvious. You tell us that there mistakes have been made. We know that. You tell us there's been a culture of making abysmally erroneous decisions. We know that. And then you tell us that everybody has to make decisions together. We know that. The question is, are you and the rest of the councillors who are responsible for this terrible mess the fit and right people to be making those collective decisions?
Can you believe that in December 2019, Croydon announced a Section 114. Now, in our terminology, that means Croydon announced they was bankrupt. So before lockdown, Croydon actually announced they was bankrupt.
The other question is, how did you not know that balancing the books was absolutely the primary priority, that you can't keep paying for things you can't afford, because if you do, you will run roughshod and headlong into bankruptcy, when your own auditors warned you of this 3 years ago?
So our external auditors published something called a report in the public interest, which as a council we discussed last week and agreed an action plan to address the range of improvement areas that we need to make as a council. And that pointed to a whole range of issues for us as an organisation.
So we had lockdown, we had corona, we had bankruptcy, but life had to still go on. So as being Croydon's award winner, I thought it was only right, because you know, the award wasn't in 2020 no more, so I'm actually still the award winner. I thought it's only a right that I go and speak to some of the public, some of the community leaders, the councillors, the MPs, and find out their opinion on why Croydon went bankrupt. What do they believe in vaccination? Because we all know that they are stating that the BAME community are refusing to take the vaccine. Is that the case? Does the vaccine only work for white people? Does the vaccine affect black people?
You know, in terms of COVID and stuff, what's your thoughts on it? I would like to know what's your thoughts on maybe COVID, what's your thoughts on maybe the vaccine, especially for our people as well.
Yeah, what I would say is that it's real.
It's real, yeah?
You know,
yeah.
My sister-in-law died for it. I couldn't quite watch her because we're not allowed to be around each other. She couldn't breathe, you know? She couldn't breathe.
Coronavirus is a true virus, but it's just a cold or flu, right? This is provable. Yes, there's been, some deaths. The numbers being questionable because even the government admitted that they've got their own statistics wrong, right? Yeah. Also, many people have died of COVID, right? But many people die of the flu every single year. People don't check statistics of the past. They only see numbers now and go, There's a lot of fear-mongering going on in the news, right?
I agree.
And there's a lot of untruths. Now, also, I think that, people need to be questioning what their family members have died of, because I'm telling you now, if my mum or dad or someone in my family had died in hospital of COVID, I would be going there and I'd say, show me the medical records. Show me the medical records from the moment my mum or dad or whoever come into hospital. I'd get a second opinion. I'd get a post-mortem, right? And I would find out what my family member died of. Because when I've advised people to do this, they've gone and they've challenged the hospitals and find out it wasn't even COVID that killed their family member.
Right there.
We're not,
Yeah? I plead the fifth.
one of them, the 8th,
One
the
of them,
5th,
the
the 12th,
8th, the 12th.
whatever it is.
What lockdown is this? Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, just tiny bit briefly. What do you think of COVID or the vaccine, should I say? Because I've got a couple of friends who've just taken the vaccine, I'm not going to lie.
I know a couple of people that have taken the vaccine
Yeah.
too. It's not my time to take it.
Not my time either.
All I'm saying on a kind of like influential level is be informed about the decision that you make, whatever it is. So if you decide to take it, make sure you did your research.
You've done the research.
If you don't want to have it, also be informed.
Yes.
I think what is more pressing this time is I've known a lot of people to die and to survive this COVID pneumonia. And that for me is like, because this second strain, and then they're talking about the South African strain, and I'm like...
Whoa, next strain,
yeah, next strain down in Mitcham, CR4 that's coming, South African strain. Yeah.
I don't want to hear
news.
it. No, I don't even watch no news. I don't want news.
These things are coming in. So for me, it's about being aware, being informed, and using my platform and my position to inform other people so that the community makes an educated decision for themselves.
Yeah, 100%. What's your opinion?
Take it when you're offered it. Take it as soon as possible. Support others to take it.
Strong message, I love it.
I think it's kind of does what it says on the vaccine tin, so to speak. There are many fears, understandable, many worries, and it's great to see our communities, leaders like Janet Campbell, the BAME Forum in Croydon, start to support people, break down the myths and get clear. Take it, support others, take it, and let's get on to support ourselves, be safe, and as we said, others be safe too.
Yeah, because that's what we've got to do, help people understand. Because me, I don't understand. I tell you straight, I can't take the vaccine.
What don't you understand?
I don't understand, look, if I take the vaccine, am I still on lockdown? Yeah.
Well, lockdown is separate to the vaccine, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
We are here as an organisation to help inform people. We're not here to tell people to do it. You'll never hear it from my mouth to say you have to do it.
You should take it or you shouldn't take it.
No, but what I would do is get people either for it or against to say and have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I said we've had some really good events where people are able to make their own informed decision, and from that people have decided, okay, I'm going to go and take it. And as the lady said yesterday, it's like, I hear you, but I'm still not going to do it.
Well, at the end of the day, the common law of the land says do no harm, loss or injury. So, I need to do my own, I'm in the process of conducting my own research because, I want to make sure that, my bodily autonomy stays intact. So I'm still in the process of research, so I haven't had the vaccine. And that's where I'm at this moment, personally.
Which is totally fine, as in you're not saying to no one, that you haven't had it because of this. You're simply saying research.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, the vaccine is something that is allowing us to come back together again, regardless of whatever anybody has to say. Yeah, so far I've had it, my mum's had it, my partner's had it. And there's no second head growing. I've walked past 5G.
Yeah, you walk past 5G
towers,
yeah.
and I don't feel as though anything's messing with my head so far. Okay?
Yeah, well, obviously so far.
So I'm a walking example of what it is.
Well, Anthony King's actually taking it as well.
Yeah, I took the vaccination yesterday, bro.
You took the what?
I took the vaccination, Pfizer, no long thing. No long thing. Right in this arm here, bro.
You took it already?
Took the thing, bro.
You had it already?
Yeah, the joke. Boop, boop, boop. And Air the Killer, when I was in there, Fairfield Halls, Croydon, yesterday, I was in there, yeah, bro. I'm all right. No tail, no
long ears,
no long hair. Yeah.
No, big man thing. You took the vaccine?
Took the vaccine, swear down.
Okay.
None of our people are doing the trials. And if this thing can give a 10% chance of saving a life, and I work with vulnerable adults and I work with vulnerable children, I'm taking the thing. So out of my whole circle and community, I said, all right, I'll be the ruggo one. I'll take the thing. So yesterday I went and took the thing.
I've got an achy arm because I had it yesterday.
Oh, you've had it just yesterday?
Yeah, I had it yesterday.
And you're saying achy arm as in not to put a negative out there, but achy arm as in just because of the injection?
Achy arm. It was an injection, yeah. So I had an injection yesterday morning. I've got asthma, so I was one of the what do they say? The
high risk.
High risk, yeah. So because of my underlying conditions, I've got it a bit earlier because I'm obviously not old enough to have it yet.
Yeah. No, you're not old enough.
But no, I've just had it yesterday, and I just think, you know, we need to try and get our lives back to normal. Am I concerned that I've had something that's not tested? It's been tested. It's been approved. You know, I think we have to just move on. We have to trust the professionals, trust the scientists that they are doing the right job, and go with it.
So do you think that there's been enough trust within the community and the public and the government or the people pushing the vaccine? Because I think that's the breakdown in communication.
From what my community and the people I talk to, everybody's had the vaccine. All of my family and friends have had the vaccine. I spoke to somebody the other day and she said she doesn't want to have it. She feels like she's a guinea pig, and I just was kind of like, okay.
Everybody has a different outlook. And I mean, even people close to me. So when I'm saying, you're going to take the vaccination, and that, they're like, huh? No, I'm not taking it. And then I think, okay, we're not taking it. Right, cool. Then I say to someone else, I'm not taking no vaccination. And they're like, wow, why aren't you taking it? I'm thinking, wow, I need to make my own decision. So what's your opinion on vaccination?
Personally, I'm not taking it.
Okay.
Well, not unless I get forced to take it. But even then, because of my medical history, I've got one of the autoimmune diseases, which nobody really knows. I don't really get involved that way and tell people about it.
So without saying what that is again, but I'm saying, so you got underlying problem, doesn't that mean that you have to get it? Or you should get it?
Well, they've offered me, but I've had the offer. But there's not enough research, and they say it themselves. There's not enough research in regards to people with immune compromise problems. What the what's the word? Feedback is, or what
so
the
it's not
side
an
effects
ignorant
are.
attitude of not taking it. It's from what you've
I
heard.
don't want to be a guinea pig now.
Yeah, with my problems, they haven't found out if it helps my thing or what.
Not,
I just don't like the way in which people kind of force a lot of their views on people.
Hate it.
I don't think the views should be forced on people. I think it should be a decision for them to take if they want to take it and if they don't want to take it. And if you want to take it, great. I believe that we're all going to have to take it anyway. I think
believe that part.
Because you're going to be restricted as to what you can do. So you might not be able to fly out, you might not be able to go to concerts, meetings, all different types of things. You might not even be able to go into a hospital unless you've had to take the jab. So I believe we're all going to have to take it at some point. And I just think, it's one of those things that maybe we just have to have that little bit of trust in them. I know a lot of that might anger a lot of people because a lot of people don't want to trust them. And why should we trust them? I've never known this government to trust this government. There's nothing that I can feel that this government's ever done to make me feel like I want to trust them. I'm just being honest with you. But I think if it gets us back to some sort of normality, because a lot of the work that we find ourselves doing now with Mentivity, we're having to call it COVID relief.
For me, personally, I mean, my parents have had the vaccine. They're a different generation as well. So I think they're very much, I want to be safe.
The older generations, I'm not playing no games with you lot. Taking my vaccination and that.
That's right. And, I think my mum knows I'm reticent about it because I don't really say much because I don't want a big debate with her because I know what she's like. And
we know how our parents are, so we know what conversations to kind of veer away from.
Yeah, just a little sidestepping of that.
That question's coming. So tomorrow, Mum.
Yeah, but when I'm with my friend now, I'll be like, I ain't having it, you. No. But then there's people I do know that have, and they volunteered to have it. So, but for me, there's no hurry as far as I'm concerned. I feel that, yes, it is way worse than the flu, obviously, but I've never taken anything for the flu. So why am I taking something that they've only just it's happened too quickly.
Everything's happened too quickly.
I just don't trust it at the moment.
Because we wrote about it in the Chronicle because obviously the local doctors and NHS are concerned about the fact that a lot of people from mainly black,
maybe the black community,
also Asian community.
So maybe the BAME community are very reluctant.
Yeah, and so there's been lots and lots of kind of Zoom and online meetings with community leaders, doctors, where people can participate in it and, you know, have their questions, you know, answered.
Those are questions that I was able to ask doctors. I mean, they were able to give us
any of those answers?
Basically, they were saying that the vaccine has been. What are they saying? They're basically saying that they don't. I'm trying.
Yeah, because you're trying to fathom what they said and trying to give a normal answer.
I'm trying to give a normal rather thing. But basically, they're saying that it doesn't have to be the 3 weeks. Yeah, so that they are able to stretch it and that person is still able to have the same protection as it is in 3 weeks. Yeah,
particularly in this country, the disturbing thing for me has just been the forceful nature of everything. Like a vaccine is compulsory, and they're making it seem like you just have to do it, and then little things like if you don't do it, you can't do this and you can't do that. And that's what I'm uncomfortable with. Is for my thing is just like what, because this country's handled it very poorly. We can all see that it's been handled awfully.
See it with our eyes.
But my thing is just like, what is your agenda and what is the end game? That's the concern for me, because
like, what are you trying to achieve? What is this sneaky bit?
That's for me, because it feels like there's a lot of division that's been created by this. Even little things like the really heated arguments people have about masks. Like,
wearing
if
a mask or not mask.
then I hate you or unfriend me.
I hate you and I'm like, I go into the shop one time without a mask, and she's like, "So you don't think you need to wear a mask?" I was like, "Calm down, lady."
It's them little things there, and it feels like they're trying to divide people.
There's a reason why black people do not trust the vaccine. Okay.
Is it to do with trusting the government in the first place?
Funny enough, it's you know, we all know that the syphilis trials did happen.
Happened.
It's on the internet if anybody wants to research it. And we know that when COVID first came out, do you remember the doctors around the tables on the news? I can't tell you the name of the doctor,
and then
he said he's going to trial it in Africa.
In Africa, And as soon as he said that, uproar in our people, just started having flashbacks on what you've done before, and all of. You had one?
I haven't had one yet. No, I'm a key worker, frontline worker, so I do have access of getting it. I haven't just yet. That's because of, definitely my own personal reservations, most definitely. I mean,
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
What is your personal reservation?
It's happened so quick, you know, for a country that we were the slowest in terms of lockdown and being effective in this, in terms of giving PPE out to the communities and stuff to do testing, contact tracing, all of those type of things. We were totally behind with the times, let alone the amount of deaths that we've had in care homes and in other places as well. It's ridiculous. And then, you know, for you to quickly push this vaccine on us, are you trying to make up for something? You know, are you trying to kind of overcompensate for something? I have definitely a lack of trust, and maybe it's, you know, possibly ignorance as well. Maybe I don't know enough as well to be told. But for me, I just have a lack of trust in this government in general. Because again, it's just, I have no trust.
People just desperately want to go see their family and friends and have some normality in their lives. Go on holiday, do all those things, you know?
Please, I really do. And they're talking about vaccine passports now.
Yeah, I don't know. It does feel weird. I mean, we are an island, aren't we? So once we're all vaccinated, it feels good for us. But what about the rest of the world? So it does need to get out there and look up. You know, everyone needs to have it, don't they?
In all directions.
Every direction,
because everyone's connected to someone in a different way.
Yeah, but everybody should have it. You know, it's controversial, isn't it, that we've got it and Europe hasn't, and you know.
I think a lot of the fear that people have at the moment is the perception that, and actually reality, that this vaccine has been developed so quickly.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, to sort of counteract that is, you know, there were things already in progress because technology has improved so much. You know, so so much money was thrown at this vaccine. Okay. So everything has been accelerated in terms of, you know, all the research, all the trials and everything. I mean, historically, a lot of time is spent applying for funding, as we've just mentioned. You spend so much time applying for funding.
But they've just thrown the money at it.
People have just thrown money at this, find a solution now. Yeah. So that's been a big part of the battle. Yeah. Secondly, there's been so many volunteers to be trialled on that, you know, also recruiting people to, you know, trial vaccines and medication has had issues in itself in the past. That all takes time. But, you know, if you're getting 100,000 people saying, try it on me,
You've got
It
your...
speeds it up.
It speeds all of that up. So all of that
That's
has
a
been
really great
speeded
point.
up. I mean, obviously the longer term impact isn't known, but I think because technology has improved so much, it's, you know, easy for the chemists and the medics who've put this vaccine together, or vaccines together even, to determine what the pros and cons will be, because we've learnt from history, you know.
Out there to sift through, you know, what's the right information. You know, to me, I think you've got to look at the bigger picture, the wider context. You've got to look at it from an economic, political, global, spiritual angle.
Yeah, there's a lot of intricate parts in it.
See what I'm saying?
It's not as simple as...
No,
you know,
and once you've done it, you've done it. You
Well,
can't
yeah, once
take
you've
it
done
back.
it, you can't get it back out of you.
No.
It's very true, you know. And as much as we want the world to be a better place, we want the world to be safe, we still have to have a small bit of understanding that the public has trust issues with past things that's happened with vaccines and stuff, with past companies who've been involved in making the vaccines, you know what I mean? So I don't blame anyone for taking it, because they believe if I take it, I'm safe.
Well, also, if you take it, you get to go on holiday.
And then you
jab
get to
and
go on. Exactly, so I don't blame
But
anyone.
you know what? There's as a community builder, you know, I like to research things, and there's things in the future. There's possibilities. You've got the Freedom Airways.
Oh yeah.
Set up.
I don't know about
You've
this.
got the Freedom Festival set up.
Yeah.
You've got a forthcoming event, the Word Workshop. You know, there's things, there's ways through this thing for people who don't
has a
choose
different
that
belief.
route.
Yeah, he has a different belief. Yeah. Good message to put out there, because you know a lot of people's got their yes and no's about it.
The other question I'd ask is, what is the alternative?
Yeah, that is true. What is the alternative? Because the alternative to me, I would only say, is just the natural stuff of what, you know, going back to Mother Nature. I just feel like we're so far from Mother Nature, we don't even know what soursop does no more. We don't even know what that bush does no more to rabbit on our skin. We're far from that no more. We're talking about, can I buy this in the corner shop? And can I just take it now to fix me? Yeah. You know, so...
Chicken foot soup. You know chicken foot soup?
No.
Yeah, man. You know,
I've never done
Are you
chicken
Jamaican
foot soup.
background?
Yeah.
So you don't know about chicken foot soup?
For sickness?
Yeah, man.
I don't know
Chicken
about
foot. You got chicken foot with carrot and cho-cho and yam and dasheen in there.
I know about soup or chicken foot soup, but not for the sickness.
Yeah, man, it helps. And then you got white rum, that's good for the sickness.
Gone for it, yeah.
Yeah, bay rum for the
Bay
sickness.
rum, yeah, bay
and
rum.
then we made this drink, one bitters.
Yeah, bitters, yes.
Yeah, and then you put some thyme in there and all them things.
Yeah.
I was using all that. And that was good for my immune system, but it weren't fighting no virus, bro. It was just building up my system.
Yeah.
And then they said they're bringing in this jab. And then obviously our community don't want no one touching us inappropriately.
Yeah, jab, we're not on it.
We're not in it.
Especially when I just haven't felt comfortable that anybody has said, well, these 100 people have taken it and they're fine. I haven't got that kind of feedback.
You know what?
And this is coming from a person who now, you know, you're obviously a counsellor.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's coming from a person who firsthand can say she didn't die from something else.
No, she died from COVID. Yeah, she died from COVID, yes. There were other factors, you know, there was no underlying illnesses.
Yeah, when they say that, there's other underlying illnesses.
There were other factors. You know, she could have been fitter.
I think we should keep it simple. COVID is the problem. Take the vaccine, stay safe.
I like Jamie. That's what I'm saying, straight to the point. Straight to the point. So there you have it. According to my interviews, it's not just the BAME community that's refusing to take the vaccine, and it's not just the white community that's actually taking the vaccine. In my opinion, I believe it's down to personal preference. I believe each individual should do your own due diligence and research and find out what best suits you, whether it's for your culture, whether it's your family, or whether it's just your beliefs. Do your research and have your own opinion and your own answer on if you should take the vaccine. Don't worry about anybody else. But that also brings me to my next question. So why is Croydon bankrupt? And what does that actually mean? I caught up with a few influential people who I believed could give me the correct answers, or just answers so I could understand what it actually means or looks like for a borough as big as Croydon to be bankrupt. Let's go and find out.
So what do we mean by Croydon going bankrupt? Croydon's Section 151 officer, that's the leading financial officer in the council, declared what's called a Section 114 notice, raising the hand, so to speak, that Croydon Council was unable to meet its financial obligations for the year to balance the budget by the end of the financial year.
What you're saying is the report shows that the decisions that you made were wrong, that the culture in which you made them was wrong, that whatever the decisions you came to were wrong. You're saying that. We already know that, and we already know that you've had to file a 114. We know that they were wrong. Wrong to the tune of 1.5 billion. You're only repeating what we already know.
This thing is, I'm going to tell the truth, yeah?
Please.
Croydon, lots of boroughs, but Croydon in particular. Croydon is part of London, but we're only funded out of London money. So we don't get the money like Westminster and Ireland. We don't get money like Brixton. We get out of London money. But yet we have inner London problems. We have the largest child demographic of any borough, right? And in terms of, we're the biggest borough too, in terms of land mass.
Yeah, land mass, yeah.
So in terms of housing, our looked after children, all of those things are a drain on our already reduced resource. Stick a pin. However, this continual lack of funding from central government did not give those who were in the know at the time the entitlement to take taxpayers' money and make investments in companies that they thought would go, you know, nobody would notice, yeah? That's why they did it. They made those investments so that they could do more projects for Croydon. I understand that.
You
But at the
tried
end
to
of
take
the
a risk.
You tried to take a risk, but that's exactly what you took. You took a risk. Now,
Basically, what Croydon Council did was created another company, and a lot of councils do this as well. They create subsidy businesses. Come on, you know I'm gonna get into it.
I want to hear opinions.
That's the real thing still. So a lot of councils, what they tend to do is they create subsidy businesses to fulfil the services that they know their community need, basically. One of those businesses was called Brick by Brick. To my understanding, we had at least 2 members of the council who were directors of this company. Now, just there alone to me, that screams conflict of interest. I don't believe that we should have actual cabinet member councillors sitting on a board of directors for this company. I think for me...
My mouth was open just
no, for real. Let me tell you more. And they'd be married as well.
So I feel that maybe they just spent too much money. Well, we know they spent too much money. Yeah, they spent too much money. They were, there were high ambitions and assets bought which didn't really make any sense. And who knows? I mean, those people that are responsible are not there anymore, are they? And we don't really know, but all we can do is embrace what's left and make sure as local people, we build that connection of community leaders, like you said. There are thousands of people that really care, and we need to make sure we are delivering that positivity that Croydon Council has done in the past and keep the wheels in motion.
Now we're in a bad place. I feel like our grassroots organisations are left to pick up the baton and rebuild Croydon.
And this, for me, is the major issue. And look, I don't mind saying it for the camera. This, for me, it's not on the same scale, and I don't want to offend no one. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. But Grenfell happened, okay? Grenfell happened. Who picked up those people after Grenfell? Well, the government.
The local
people, they were the ones that ran around and rallied around and helped out people. The government now probably still have people living in hotels that ain't been housed
the government ain't done stuff yet.
They still haven't done stuff.
It's not,
all they've done, the only people that's been jailed for this are the same people that was falsely claiming benefits and stuff like that, but not the people that put the cladding up and done all these things and made these poor decisions. They're still fine. They're living their normal lives. And we're years on down the line. You know what I mean?
We have members of Croydon Council who were cabinet members who were married to each other, and then as well executives on board of this company.
And the company was a limited company.
A limited company, but it was a council company, a council-owned company. So for me, it's just all incestuous. It was all a bit fuddy-duddy. And again, with these councillors, they were specifically council members and cabinet members for planning and housing. So any decisions that need to be made, any tenders that need to happen, any committees that need to be sat on, they're the heads of it. And then obviously I assume, they could go home and talk about it, but that's another story. Let's not get into the tea of that. But so again, what they were then doing is actually giving all the contracts and the tenders and awarding it to brick by brick. And I was like, wow, that's a bit...
Makes sense, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit all to them. And I was like, you guys are just monopolising the market. And, you know, there wasn't many consultations that were happening with certain community members either. And for me, I was just like, where's the consultation for your constituents? Like, you can't just be putting these things in place.
Putting them through, yeah.
Yeah, and not talking to the people about it. So that was happening for years, Dexter.
But how do they have access to certain amount of funds?
So going back to the culture, yeah. So there have been certain people in power for so long, so therefore there has been a sort of...
Culture?
Yeah, there's been a culture that...
There's crews. And that's what I said when I come Croydon. I thought Croydon, everyone can help me to help the people. No, you have to get in with the right crew, maybe.
Well, I think for a number of years, as I said, I went to Sussex Innovation in 2015, and it did feel like a place where anything could happen, didn't it? Croydon felt really positive for a long time.
Yeah.
It just felt there was a lot of money being spent, and if you wanted anything, you could get it.
Yeah.
1.5 billion was more than enough to fix a lot of these problems.
No, you said it right. More than enough.
More than enough to fix these problems. And the fact that these problems have happened, you know, if this was anyone else, heads would be rolling. Like, where are these people now? And, you know, if I lived in Croydon, I was born and raised in Croydon, I would want to see an air of transparency. I want to know who these people are that made these decisions, where they are.
And this is where I'm going to talk about white entitlement. We understand risk. We're born. The fact that we're alive is risky.
It's risky.
Because you're born this colour. So we know from the time we are there we need, it's risky behaviour being black out here. So we don't really... And the way that we're sanctioned in terms of the law, we know said there's no grey area with us. What I don't understand about our present condition, and I speak quite passionately about this, how can an investment have gone wrong, right? You're taking the people's X amount of millions, and yet I can't hear no blues and twos for none of them.
Nothing.
Let it have been that me and you was at the top of Croydon, and
teeth in them money.
Teeth in,
you have to put the word in. Teeth in them big money.
The people them money for something that we're saying, well, boy, if it comes off,
it's going
to benefit the people.
Yeah.
The way the bracelet argument.
No.
And they're going to send 27 man for you. Because you know when police come for black man, it's all a holy pie.
Why is that though?
And they're going to send 15 women for me.
Croydon Council, you're not wrong. Croydon Council have gone into bankruptcy now. What the Labour Party's excuse is, I know that we led the council into bankruptcy, but that's because the central government didn't give us enough funds to meet the needs of the council, and that's how we led into bankruptcy. Well, that's all right if you want to believe that, but as a matter of fact, we know that from history, people that have been employed to work in Croydon Council have actually stolen funds from vulnerable people as well, such as, for example, you can look this up online as well. There was a female who worked in the social services department, right, of Croydon Council. And what she done is she made a lot of fake businesses for children's homes. She made a lot of fake profiles for children in care. And then she pretended that these pretend children lived in these pretend homes. And she would make payments, right, to these homes, right?
If it was a black person, we'll be in prison, right?
Yeah, what can I say? Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. So what's your opinion on why Croydon went bankrupt? Is it the people them teeth the money? Or was it due to bad management? But like Jamie Audsley said, the report for the public is on the Croydon Council website.
Croydon is bankrupt. First of all, I'd encourage you to read something called The Report in the Public Interest, published by the auditor of Croydon Council, Grant Thornton. It's a formal document.
Can I get that again?
Yeah, we can do that again.
Rewind this, but I want to get it. Where do I find this information?
If you Google Report in the Public Interest, Croydon, it will come up. It's a formal report explaining from the auditor, that's the person that checks that the money's looked after properly and governed properly, to explain what happened and why from the auditor's perspective. And look, you have experience of crisis in your life. Yeah. We have experience of crises in organisations. Ultimately, it's simple for all the complexity. A failure of leadership and a failure of governance and
Just
a failure
simple,
to take
innit?
responsibility.
Yeah, and ooh.
Bad leadership. I I think that's what it is.
You see, no one's giving me a
it's bad leadership.
Professional answer. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, yeah, they're my teeth. Them should get luck off.
It's bad leadership. It's bad leadership. You know, you know what? If being me for went bankrupt, yeah, I'm not expecting you or anybody outside there to go and start telling off any of my staff. Yeah,
100% not.
You're gonna come to me, right?
Like if Mula came going back right
exactly.
now, don't be
I'm
talking to my staff.
No, what for? Yeah. You're gonna come to the big guy, yeah, or you're gonna come to my trustee and say, listen, something's gone wrong here. Something had to go wrong over the years of it, right?
Years of it.
Of years, and no, it was no. It had to be years. It had to be years. I'm talking years, right?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 years. Yeah.
So. You know, you have to go back to the source and say, listen, if you didn't know, and then you have to be fired.
Yeah. That's what they say in it. If you didn't know, you have to be fired.
And if you did know,
you still have to on it. Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying. You know?
The hypocrisy around white entitlement blows me wild. So I'm going to say this much: what led Croydon to where it is a sense of entitlement, because nobody thought this could actually go tits up and we could end up pissing in our chips here.
Yeah, nobody
thought
because they
thought they were unstoppable,
unstoppable
and they were unaccountable, and that's one of the blights of this borough. People in this borough that reach positions of public office do not feel that they should be held accountable by local people. It's not a culture here. It's almost run like a gang.
It's true.
I'm talking
CR7
it's true. And the 25 ain't got nothing on how Croydon Council has been run. Yeah, it's been run as a fiefdom, and if you weren't in the in-click, you never get no look.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. So now, I never ever got funding because I wasn't in the in-click.
Now we are supposed to convince. They're going to look for people like us in a couple of years, Dexter, to run for councillor. Yeah, because we have the ear of the people, and you're going to want me to knock people's doors and tell them to vote for you or vote for whoever when you thief their money, run a risk, yeah? And now their council tax is going to go up. I said, count me out.
Count me out.
I'm not in the shaggers with you.
Count me out.
The hypocrisy is yay high.
Yeah, it is.
And that's the reason that Croydon's in a problem. And if you ain't got too much clout and you start asking questions, right, those people who are involved in that should have been arrested because that is fraud.
Yeah, how come there's no criminal
theft?
Yeah, how come there's no criminal talk about it?
And now they want to give the council's going to give them more money so that they can finish off building the homes that they didn't finish. And all now
in the investment thing.
And all now I can't hear that nobody's inside Belmarsh. I don't understand.
Hands up. I was one of the 70 councillors that, if you read that report, all councillors in different ways have to own up.
You were responsible as well, Jay.
Take responsibility and say what we did and didn't do.
All right, but you didn't nick none of the money.
Well, it's not that kind of bankruptcy.
Oh, it's not? What's it then? That's what I mean. Again.
I mean, this is public money, isn't it? And the issue is that so why is Croydon bankrupt? Can you answer that question? As in, like, what does it factually mean?
That's what I'm trying to say. In my head, and this is what I mean about explanation, because in my mind, I just heard bankrupt. That means we got no money.
Sure. So what it factually means is that we are technically bankrupt within this financial year, is what it means.
So you spent all your money at the beginning of the year, what was for the whole year, and next year we'll give you some more.
Simplified way of saying it, I think overspending, overinflated wages for certain staff.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we were told about it going bankrupt, you heard straight away, and it was there, black and white, you know, one particular person, that got paid off X amount of money. It's like, really? So
that's what I mean.
These people aren't bankrupt, though, are they? But they're bankrupt us, and as a community trying to work.
Wait, no, wait. Can you say that again? Because that's powerful and it made sense. Say it again.
What did I say?
These people
are not bankrupt. No, they won't be, will they?
But they've made us bankrupt.
But they made us bankrupt.
It's true.
In the process,
and the representative of us out there is that Croydon's bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's true. But they're not bankrupt.
No, they're not. Yeah. And I think then it makes it even more difficult for organisations like yourself.
It was just spending too much money in certain places that didn't benefit the community.
Okay, so saying that in that sentence there, is Croydon's duty to benefit the community?
They're there for the community.
Oh, okay.
They are there for the community.
Yeah.
So when you see things like the ITN highlighted,
that is money that could have been well spent on housing instead of the brick by brick housing. So when you hear about the 200 million that they got, it's like, well, why not take 1 million and fix up the block of flats?
Yeah, just 1 million though.
Yeah.
Because I was told in an interview earlier on that it was 1.2 billion pound. That was all in total. That's
yeah, it was like madness.
What's going on?
Yeah. So it's like it just doesn't make sense. So to go bankrupt and to know that there is still people that are starving, still people living in squalor, it's like, still potholes,
As in, whatever, not as what's done is done, but as in, they've messed up, and yes, it's unfortunate that it's going to be left to us. We've got to collaborate more, try and pick up ourselves, and try and even support the council to then turn around to support us, and support the people in power now, because before, as you've seen, they've let us down.
On the back of what you've just said, it just comes down to us. The grassroots organisations, we've got to do the work, and it's not fair because
it's not
more than enough times.
I was just about to say, we don't get funded.
We don't get funded.
We talk the thing, but we don't get funded.
We don't get funded.
Me personally, I have to sell more clothes, use my profits to invest in my charity side, which helps the people. And it's just a little bit annoying to when I know, 1.2 billion? Million? 100,000?
Yeah.
What's going on? I just need to cut 100,000. I just need to cut 100,000. That's what helps from kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think part of the information is when there are grants to give out, whatever organisation, whether it's a council, arts council, or whatever fund there is out there, it's how do organisations find out information about these funds? I mean, it's the same old people getting the money, because is it those people that are connected in the loop? They're signed up to the right mailing list, for example.
you don't get that email.
Yeah, exactly. So unless you kind of know, because you're too busy firefighting on the ground and doing what you have to do you have time and the headspace to actually think, oh my God, how am I going to fund this? Where am I going to get the funding from? I need to apply for that funding pot, and the deadline's this, and oh my God, that form is so complicated.
My niece Renee from Safe Zone Initiative.
Safe Zone Initiative, Croydon Community Leaders,
Croydon Community Leaders, excellent outfits. There's yourself.
We've got the Parental Army.
Anthony King. Anthony King speaks for himself.
You've got Tamar from the Linus Circle as well. She does stuff around, did a lot of stuff around domestic abuse as well.
Walk with Me, Blindside, Your City Says No.
Obviously, I'm a poet, so I have to start with Well-Versed Inc.
One that does spring to mind is the Cassandra Centre. I think they're amazing.
The Pathfinders in New Addington, excellent organisation.
Thank you.
Excellent organisation.
There's Music Relief, again, another previous Thornton Heath organisation. So Magdalena.
Yes, lovely lady.
So Upper Norwood Library Hub are sick. Like, I'm all about the arts. So Zoo Theatre Company, turf projects, I keep shouting them out.
Of course, Donna Murray as well. So you've got Anos as well. So they really deal with, once again, grassroots organisations as well.
Walking with Giants. Marlon.
Taking the youth off the estate.
Nobody else could do that.
So there's like Play for Progress, who work with young refugee children.
Got the mental health charities like Off the Record and Croydon Drop-In and others, they formed the Croydon Care Collectives.
Shaniqua Benjamin.
Oh, my little angel.
Our poet laureate.
Croydon's angel.
100%.
DJ Milk Tray Hope Programme.
East Croydon Cool. I love East Croydon Cool.
I know East Croydon Cool.
They're brilliant, amazing.
P4YE, another P4YE project for youth empowerment. They are on the ground. They are doing the work as well.
Once again, Music Relief as well, Magdalene as well.
For me, where the focus is not always, is on the smaller pint-sized grassroots organisations who do the work on the ground, day in, day out, week in, week out. Not these big ones always got their heads in the trough, sucking up the ting, and then making everybody else, and then make everybody else beg for the little something where I drip from their mouth. No, we know. We're gonna fire upon them. Fire upon them.
Yeah.
But it's the smaller ones who get the job done. Do you understand? Who actually are structured in their own small way to have that level of engagement. Because for me, and I know we're going to come on to it in a minute, Croydon's rock.
So I know you're probably thinking, But Dexter, you're born and raised in Lambeth. How come you got so much to say about Croydon? Well, for those of you that don't know, I've been living in Croydon for over 15 years. And it's not only because I've been awarded many awards from Croydon, or because I've done so many pop-up shops in and around Croydon. I've also built up my network of friends, associates. And you know what they say, your network is your net worth. So here's what these people had to say on how they met me and why they support my brand and other things around me.
Wow, well, it's a great story, the way I first heard of Mula cake.
Okay.
So I was at Sussex Innovation Centre. We sponsored the Croydon Business Awards and we sponsored Entrepreneur of the Year a couple of years back.
So it was the 2 category that I was in that you sponsored.
So yeah, I'm just thinking it because there was, I think we met for two. Oh yes, so it was Entrepreneur of the Year, not 2019, 2018.
Yes.
Yeah, so 2018, and Dexter Simmons was one of the shortlisted names, and that was when I first heard of you. And then we got to interview you and hear your story and hear about the amazing difference you've made.
I think I've got goosebumps right now thinking about it again.
It's a real privilege to be judging and getting to meet so many interested and inspired people. And of course, meeting you was fantastic. And hearing about where you've come from and what you've achieved and how many lives you've impacted on, it was fantastic. And yeah, we've known each other since then, haven't we?
Yeah.
So,
oh my goodness. Dexter, I think I must have known you since 2014 now.
2014.
Which is crazy, that's 7 years!
That's 7 years, you've been in my life, you know!
My gosh. Yeah, I remember you being at Lives Not Knives when you were like...
Lives Not Knives?
Yeah, but like, I think it was a pop-up, you were there for a little period of time.
Yeah.
And I remember you just being there, just being like, hi! And you had the cones and the jelly babies. And I remember speaking to you more when you had the Mula cake bake-off. I think it was the very first bake-off.
The very first bake-off upstairs in the Central Shopping Centre, yeah.
And YPI had just started as a blog at that time, and I wanted to cover positive things in the community.
I remember.
And so I came
So that must be on Google somewhere.
Yeah, I came to cover the bake-off.
The bake-off.
And I interviewed and wrote about it, and it was really great. I remember the cakes tasted great, and they looked gorgeous. Lovely. But yeah, and there was a connection from then.
So for me, the first memory is reading about you in the Thornton Heath Chronicle. So we're still in Thornton Heath, you're a Thornton Heath business.
Yes.
Down the other end by the pond.
Yeah.
And I read about you in the Thornton Heath Chronicle, which is a hyper-local paper written and edited by local volunteers.
I know, because this is why I wrote down, it's like one quote from during that time that you gave that we put in the Chronicle, which I just thought was really, really good. And I just wanted to kind of read it. You said, a lot of people complain about things that happen in our community, but make no attempt to make a change. And I believe if you can't see the problem, then you are part of the problem. We've got to do better if we expect better. And I just thought that was brilliant. Yeah.
Like even me hearing it, I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. What, did I say that? Yeah. No, but that's what I believe, because even on my hub now, it says change and opportunity. And that's what I believe. You've got to, not even in a cliche way, but you've got to try and be the change that you want to see.
My first memory of Mula cake is your aunt, my good friend, tearing at her hair. Because Dexter's got this another idea. And just watching Tracey be frantic for a hot minute.
Auntie.
You know what I mean? Big up Tracey. She loved off her nephew.
Yes.
And then understanding that you came from, it was Brixton, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm from Lambeth originally.
Right,
yeah.
and you came to Croydon and the shop was in Thornton Heath.
Yeah.
And of course, my youngest is her godson, so it was, you come down the shop, pick him out something. And then I started, obviously I knew who you were. And then I started seeing you kind of come into that community work and kind of feel out that landscape. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. How is he going to make the transition
That's so
from
funny you said that,
entrepreneur?
That it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be interesting. How's he going to make the transition in Croydon?
In Croydon.
Croydon's not really used to them transition.
Two people have got the same thought process about looking at me, seeing me come in and thinking, let's see how this one
I'm going to see it, yeah. I'm going to be like, this dinner's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the people in Croydon are not ready for it. You understand?
Yeah, I do. We were in a meeting called It Takes a Village.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where we met. You didn't remember?
See, you remember more than me, yes.
Yeah, in Croydon Park Hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look at the meeting, what we was at.
Yeah.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
As I said, when I came to Croydon, I came under the impression that I want to help my people. And I'm good at doing that. But if I can become friends with the right people, then I can really help my people. But I got a lot of backlash. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
A lot of
I
fight.
remember you being disillusioned.
Proper disillusioned.
And not quite believing in me.
I don't think, are you going to be another black woman who's going to tell me she's going to help and she don't help, you get me? Because I tell you straight on camera, there's black women out there who are counsellors who said they're going to help. Yeah, anyway, I mean, a lot of people
really
are going to...
Do you really want me to say the first memory?
You tell me.
I'm going to tell
That's
you
a good memory.
The first memory...
Tell me this first memory.
The first memory of Mula cake.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. When you walked into my kitchen, when I lived in South Norwood, and you walked into the kitchen, Auntie, I need help. And this is what I need you for 4 weeks. And
oh my days, I remember straight away. Instantly. But this is why I know you're amazing, because I can finish the story for you. Because I didn't know that was the first time you know about Mula cake.
Yeah.
That's like, I need you now.
Yeah.
No, but I need you fully involved right now.
Yeah. 4
Forget your
weeks.
work. I need you every day for 5 hours. Yeah. What? That was the first time you heard of Mula cake. What are you thinking? What are you doing? And then we stayed in your kitchen writing out labels,
Yeah, you said,
prices.
yes, the boxes are coming to your house.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
We're launching up. You're looking at me like, we're launching. Like,
The first time that I heard about Mula cake clothing, I didn't live in Croydon.
Okay.
I lived in Huddersfield. I was going to university in Huddersfield. I was studying my first degree, which is in psychology, sociology and politics. And whilst I was living in Huddersfield, a lot of people would wear Mula cake clothing. So I'd think, I wonder where that brand's from, because I see a lot of people wearing it. Then in music videos, I saw a lot of artists wearing it as well. So I realised it was a popular brand. And then later after that, I moved to London to do my master's in social work. Got a job in Croydon. I moved to Croydon in 2017.
I remember it because it was a lovely lady called Laurel that I met at the Selhurst Children's Centre. And she was a mum. And she was doing African arts and making sort of lovely tailored albums and things like that. So I wanted to encourage her. And she was the one who told me about Mula cake, and I thought, that's a weird name.
Yeah, as everyone says when they first say Mula cake.
Yeah, okay. And then when you explained it, I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. So I think you were doing a big event on Moorland Road. Like a big festival thing.
Okay, so it's probably one of our anniversaries, which was at our Children's Holiday Club, which I'm wearing the uniform for today. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And then obviously after that, I then realised you weren't just a shop and a clothing brand, but you were, whenever parents would say, you know, like what's going on over half term and they didn't have anything for their kids to do, I was like, oh, thank goodness for that. Dexter's doing his half-term thing, or he's doing his Christmas thing, his summer stuff. So there was always things to send people, you know, because you were always there doing stuff in the community.
That's been really strong throughout all your story from when I first met you, your dedication to young people. Yeah. So, you know, I know in the article that I first read, yes, it was about your clothes shop, but there was still this underlying theme that you had of supporting young people.
Yeah. It takes a real man to stand in the face of adversity, stand when people ain't giving them no money, stand when people ain't giving them no resources, stand where people who made commitments didn't answer the phone, and still keep going. I respect a man like that. I respect a man like that who realised that there's some parents in the borough of Croydon who are affected by the Section 114 who cannot even afford to pay for their children to go play scheme at the Trinity School or the Whitgift School and pay the £35 a day, or pay for Holly Play at £20 a day. Big D made sure that these kids had a refuge and a safe place to hang out. Number 3, he still maintained his integrity in his business. Yeah? And if more young black men can look up to Big D, support Big D, and I put it out there to anybody watching this documentary, if you're a young buck, if you've just come out of jailhouse, if you've just come out of uni, if you've just come out of school, if you've been moved to the ends because you're avoiding gang warfare, this is the man that I will salute and say we need to work with and look up to, yeah? Because he's creating opportunities, he's creating enterprise, and he's creating a greater future for our kids. I salute Dexter, and I'm so grateful that he had me on this show.